to come in and happens to see it. All right, so how to keep a high frequency, especially during the upcoming election night purge. So some of us, some of you guys should know by now, my name is Lisa Phillips. I have, just PSYOPs or operational research, but there is going to be an election night purge. They said that civil war is actually necessary to bring about the change and energy needed for the change to get rid of these systems, which is vitally important. So I get messages from Jesus, and I also get messages, and I ask, right? They don't necessarily come to me, although they will visit me in a dream message if they're not on my radar and they need to be. So I get messages from both. So you can call them God, Creator, Source. I call them all of them. I call on Jesus. I call on, angels. I call on everyone. So like to me, Lord Ganesha, I don't mind at all. Oh, okay. They've been preparing me on how to maintain a high vibration when I'm uncomfortable and scared and fearful. They've taught me, they've been guiding me to go ahead and stock up and prepare. All of that. So they've also have let me know and shadowed me in their protection. I asked for it, but they also gave it to me as well. It's very mutual. It's a co-creation. And so I don't walk the same way other people do. And you might say this is crazy or not, but I've seen when I've called on my spirit guides or ancestors or my other spirit guides that I have for protection, or Archangel Michael, and I called them for help, I've seen how things changed, or people who are maybe walking towards me walk away, or people who are like people I wouldn't want to encounter, how like something would come up and like cover me, so I didn't have to see them at all because it was covered by a truck, like every single time. Or if I'm out on the beach by myself alone, how if I see someone walking towards me, I'm a little iffy and I call on them, how all of a sudden a guy will come walking and jogging with his dog, right? And all of a sudden the moment's gone because I'm not alone anymore. So, the level of faith I have in the protection when I call on them is so high because I've seen it in so many different ways. I just walk protected. And so with the bloodshed and the fighting and all this and the chaos and the lack of food, this is how I'm going to maintain myself. And I'm giving this out there so you guys to know that maintaining a high frequency does matter, because through all of this, there's going to be a point in which those who leaned into their protection, into love, into faith, into all of that, versus going chaotic, versus going violent, versus going low vibrational, it is going to be a difference. And at the end of this, there is going to be a split between 3D and 5D. And if your vibration's too low, you don't make it. And I'm going to do a video on it. The 5D, from what I've heard, sounds freaking amazing. Okay, you can fly, right? Because your denser body it can be there or it can't, right? 3D is dense. 4D, 5D, all of a sudden that starts going away, and the laws of physics change as well, right? I'm an electrical engineer major, so you got to understand. I understand energy from an actual practical and theoretical viewpoint, as well as the practice of using energy and calling on different energies. So, so the physics change once you're at a different density, right? Right? That's something that is proven scientifically. So, things you can do to maintain a high frequency and vibration so that when the time comes and you do get the opportunity, you're at a higher enough vibration even through all the chaos. Get your house in order. So stock up on food and water and the ability to stay inside for 3 or 4 months, okay? So if there are food shortages, if trucks can't make it to the grocery stores because there's fighting on the streets, if there is a natural disaster and water, just like in Texas, there's like brain-eating amoebas and everyone has to drink water, right? So the water at the store is like sold out. So say that is happening, or just some major event where you can't go to the store and get your basic supplies, have it on hand. If you live in a small apartment, put it in a closet, clear it out, put it under your bed. I purchased extra IKEA shelves like the ones back here. They're like $50 to $60, and I put them on that, okay? Have that on hand, because and it's not just because it's going to provide you sustenance, it's going to help you stay calm when everyone else is going crazy, right? And that is how you maintain a high frequency. So some of you guys, when I mean by frequency, and I'm going to explain it because I've had someone ask me what do I mean by vibration and frequency. You vibrate at a certain resonance depending on what your frequency is. If your life is filled with low vibrational activity, thoughts, and attitudes, you vibrate lower. So that means just generally dissatisfied with life. It could be depressed. It could be angry, full of anger and mistrust, lacking compassion, more quick to anger than to love. All of those things are low density vibration. If your mindset is, I'm always going to be broke, or I can never catch a break, that's low vibrational activities, right? That puts you, it's not a high state of being. You're not flying high, right? Versus people who are in love and laughter and in a situation where they can go off, but they decide to de-escalate the situation because they're not coming from a hurt place, and they're like, I'm not going to get worked up over this, even though you called me out your name. It's just a different way. You can always choose in that situation which way to go, but you can also vibrate higher or lower. And when you spread the energy of love, not love and light, I don't like that term, but just de-escalation, right? Acceptance, non-judgment, detachment even. So if there's a situation like politics where people are like, and you're like, I don't care, because I live my life as a creator. I don't care who gets it, because who gets elected, because it doesn't matter. I live my life as a creator. I manifest what I want. I do what and I get guidance from on high to help me get there, right? I don't care. You're not invested. You're not pulled. You're not emotional about looking at things. You're generally at a higher frequency. People can't pull you or control your emotions, right? If I watch the news and I start to get down, I'm aware of that, and I will turn it off and do something that brings me joy, which lifts me up. Like when you're at a high frequency, it's very obvious when you're being pulled down because of either someone else's attitude or your own, right? And then you do things to do it because you didn't just get high vibrational. You've learned how to deal with those low vibrational activities. Just a quick story. I was at the I was with my daughter, and she was skating, and she went up some stairs to a little platform. Someone was like, "Oh, that was very dangerous," and I was like, "It's not." And we're like, "Yeah, but she went up the steps. Like, she was fine. Like, you can go up steps with stakes." And I showed her how to do it. But I was like, okay, this woman's irritating me right now. But you know what? As much as I would love to go off on her and tell her to mind her own business, and she doesn't know what she's talking about, and well, technically, it's not because you're holding on to the rail, dum-dum. That's what I wanted to say, right? You walk a high vibrational lifestyle. So instead of going off, you're like, you know what? Thank you, man. We're good. Right? And even though in my heart, I did, and it's okay, like, to want to cuss someone out who overstepped their boundaries or talk to you like you didn't know what you were doing with your own child. I made a decision, and I think about this sometimes, like, ooh, I wanted to cuss them out. But then I tell myself, I made the decision not to continue. It didn't go anywhere. I didn't know this person. It wasn't worth trying to save face or ego to go that route. And there really wasn't going anywhere because I felt this way. She felt that way. I wasn't trying to see her side. She wasn't trying to see mine. It really wasn't going to go high. It was only going to go lower. And even though sometimes, like, a couple days later, I was like, ooh, I wish I would have went off. Then, I'm just like, but you know what? My self-talk, which is like catching yourself when you're going low, right? When you're from a high vibrational place and you're very conscious of it. You're like, Lisa, you decided not to continue because you didn't know them. They weren't worth the time invested, and they weren't worth you getting angry or out of sorts or thinking about this. So just release it, right? And it's just an example of, you have situations coming up where you can choose whatever you want, but right now being centered, detached, more towards joy versus hate, more towards love versus fear, or even fear, right? Like going, hey, I know if I call on Jesus to protect me, he will, or my angels. Just having faith like that and not being in fear and anxiety or stress are mindful actions that keep your vibration high. And so I wanted to start with, A, let's stock up on food and water. That's really going to help you. And B, be conscious and mindful that right now, there is a test right now. You are being tested on a spiritual level. Passing the test is amazing. Not passing the test is not. It's going to be very sad. And I'd hate for you to find out the hard way, okay? I'm actually going to have a lot of open letters to those who don't ascend to the 5D because they're going to want answers. Like, what happened? What was this? How come I didn't know? Well, you could have, but you just weren't at a place to listen. And I'm going to have things on, like, what you can do for the next time you get a chance to possibly ascend. Maybe not in your lifetime, but maybe 4, 5, 6 generations in, you can, if you teach your kids the right thing. So, election night purge, yeah. So having food and water stocked up because the reality of the situation is going to help. being mindful and choosing to stay in love and in protection and in faith, be it whatever faith you are, from Buddhist to Mormon, just staying in faith that you're going to be protected versus fear, keeps your vibration high. And those are the two main things. I'm trying to think if there was like another big point I wanted you to have on maintaining a high vibration. I want you to go at the end of it. If you stay high, there is going to be a reward. It's on a spiritual level. We've all known about the Ascension process for years. And we really we want as many of us to ascend as possible, including myself. Oh, another thing. Oh, that was the third thing. Healing. So I keep my vibration high for a few things. Every morning there's a healing I do. It could be like, open my third eye, clear my crown chakra, balance my chakras. It can be physical pain I'm clearing up. Maybe a rash I'm healing that I had on the back of my neck because it was getting scratched. Maybe it's I'm working in meditation. So I'm actually doing activities that, and this is mine, I'll show you, it'll still work for you. Now with me, I call in the angels who work through me to do it. They are higher vibrational frequencies. When they interact with me just by going, oh, cleared your eyes, right? Or cleared your crown chakra, or helped your heart chakra, da 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 da. Anytime they do that, just from touching me and me allowing them in, my vibration's high. Anytime I'm doing something that's releasing pain, releasing anger with them, because I do emotional healing as well. Like, hey, I'm really mad at this happened the other day. I'm really mad at my brother for what he did to me. Long story. Archangel Michael, can you take this anger and fear and resentment from me and transmute it to divine love and light? And I can feel energy, so I can literally feel it coming out of my body into Archangel Michael's hands, and it transmutes to love and light, and I get lighter. So my doing the healing activities, which all of you can do during this time, meditation, make the intention, I want to heal this aspect, I want help with this aspect. Or if you look at my other channels, you can ask the angels or your spirit guides or Christ or God even, hey, can you take this anger from me? Because I can't forgive this person and I want to, right? My ex-husband irritates me, doesn't even believe in any of this. And it irritates me because my daughter has to be with them. And I'm like, for these events, let me just manifest that she's with me. But it really irritates me. I had to ask Archangel Michael again to take some anger from me because I didn't even want to include him in my prayers. And I was like, that's not right. So once that happened and that was removed from my system and I allowed that in and with faith let it go, I was then able to include him in my prayers, as before I was not. And that moment, I just did not feel like doing the journaling and talking about it. I was just like, just take it, help transmute it so I can continue in love, right? Not in love like highfalutin, but just in like a considerate, accepting, want to be helpful way versus the anger at both of those individuals. That is completely valid, but that's not going to help me. And it just keeps me lower in density, right? So you're healing, you can do healings, you can do sound baths, you can do, just set your attention and go for it. You can do angelic healings. Like if you literally just did one of my angelic healings a day, you would be streaked. Because every single time you're allowing them in, they're high frequency, they're touching, they're releasing fear, they're releasing trauma. And all of that's happening. And so when you're doing that, what will happen is you're lightening your load. You're doing the healing. You can heal either way you want. Sometimes I like just giving it away and turning it to love, and it's out of my energetic body. That also keeps it. So, there's a concept called triggered, but it's like I don't get triggered as much because things that might have triggered that, well, it's been released, so you're not touching anything. I exercise that out of my body consciously, and a lot of people get in trouble because they're not consciously exercising these things out of their body, and that's what they need to do. So, okay, so that's what I want to do for the upcoming purge. There's going to be huge food shortage, water shortage, natural disasters, election night, civil war. There's going to be it, but you have to maintain a high vibration. So to sum up, it's get your practical food, water supplies. I can go without water for 4 days, 5 days. I can get water. I can get food. I don't have to go to the store. Toiletries and whatnot. I have there's prepper groups all around that can help you with that. 2, be mindful and conscious of maintaining a high frequency. There's going to be situations where you can go low or high. It's your choice, but you are being tested at the end of this on where you're at. And 3, take this time to heal, heal, and heal. Take little steps if you need to. If you don't know how to heal like I do, which is a practice, you can look online, you can do yoga, you can do sound healing, you can reach out to someone, you can pay someone $60 at the local center to do healing. You can journal, which is on your own. You just start with something that's on your mind, get it out. Because usually as you journal, there's something so powerful about writing where it comes out and clarity gets seen. And you get it all out, and a problem you may have had comes really clear at the end. And every day you just sort of do that. You just keep writing it down. You just keep doing it. That's the free way of doing it, right? Journaling. Super free. Please believe that works. Because I do it when there's a particular rough thing that's just not getting energetically out because it keeps coming back. And I journal in my mind, you know, at the end, I'm like, okay, I started out like this, but I end it with a lot of clarity about what to do because you let your higher self channel through you. And especially if you set that intention, higher self channel through me and help me get to a resolution that's of the highest good for everyone involved, right? You get ideas and inspirations that you would not have come up with your 3D mind, but you're letting in your spirit, which does have a huge, wide perspective than you ever will at this 3D level. So that's what I want you guys to do. Focus on your healing. And with that, I love you guys. I wish nothing but the best for you guys, and I will upload this. And stay tuned for the weekly October energy reading that I am going to do.